your clients, like you said, are going to search you online or Googling you or whatever, you're crazy, you're screwed.
Like, just look at like your regular life. Like, anyone here single? Is anyone single? I'm looking for a date. Is anyone single? So, okay, great. So, if you were told like, hey, you gotta meet this guy, what's the first thing you do now? You go online, you do a search for them, and try and see if they're a serial killer or not, or they can try and figure it out. And it's just, we're like that. Like, I don't know why we think people aren't like that. You know, people come to me and they're like, sign this check. I'm like, what is this? Oh, we're gonna take on this new content management system. I'm like, hold on. I go online, I take a look. What do people say about it? Watch videos. I watch. Give me even 20 minutes, I can get a good bird's eye view of whether it's positive, negative, or neutral, right? We all do that all the time, and we do that about each other, right? How many times does someone call you and they go, hi, this is Mitch Scholl calling from Twist Image. You're like, Twist Image? You're like, you're in front of you're trying to see who this person is. Are they legitimate? What's their story? So, yeah, I don't live in a world where that's an anomaly anymore. 5 years ago, it was totally an anomaly, where it's just like freaks like me who were doing that. But now it's like, you got to be nuts not to do it. Like HR, you look at human resources, you're going to hire somebody, right? Don't you go online to do a search for them? Totally illegal according to the norms of the law. You're not allowed to do that legally. They're like, come on, really? They're not going to go on Facebook and LinkedIn and see who they are and what they're about, and do they look good, or you know, are they normal, or whatever. Of course we do that. And so, you know, for me, it's such, you know, lately my whole thing is it's just table stakes. Like, that's just no shit. That's like saying, oh, you have a store, and there's a door in the store. Like, no kidding, you have a door. You know, it's more like that, where I don't take well to that sort of stuff, because I'm like, we do it all the time. Every human being does it, right?
Well, even if I go into an interview and I know the name of the boss, I'm looking for his name, of course, and on LinkedIn, of course.
Je pense que pour les départements de communication, comme mademoiselle a parlé, qui résistent encore aux social media, ce qu'ils ne réalisent pas, c'est que leur présence sur le web, c'est pas juste leur site web corporatif.
Right.
C'est Facebook, c'est Google, c'est Twitter, c'est tous ces canaux-là. Puis s'ils ne se rendent pas là, s'ils ne sont pas présents là où sont leurs clients, ben, il manque le bateau.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a part of the book where I talk about the conversation is everywhere. And so people are like, oh, we don't want to have that on our blog because people might say something. But they'll just say it on their blog. They're going to say it. It's not like you can't. And I think people forget that we are at that moment. Like, this is a new moment where everybody is a publisher. And that's the big thing, too. It's like you can say, oh, I don't want to let people say what they want on my site. They'll just do it in Yelp, or they'll do it on their blog, or they'll do it in Facebook, or someone will take it. So, you know, again, I don't really, that I'm always like, okay, don't. Someone else, and on top of that, your competitors will see that and expose that weakness. And so why wouldn't you?
Weird. One, two, please.
Oui, je travaille aussi beaucoup avec des plus petites entreprises. Quand j'observe dans mon réseau, je suis plus en milieu touristique, les entreprises qui ont pris de l'avance dans les médias sociaux, c'est qu'on réalise que de façon naturelle, dans le tempérament des leaders, ils étaient des communicateurs. Donc, à la base, ils opéraient des commerces, mais ils avaient cette passion-là, le désir d'écrire. Et nos clients qu'on rencontre, qui ont des petites équipes, 3-4 personnes, on discute avec eux, on se rend compte qu'aucun des quatre a naturellement ce talent-là, a ce désir-là. Et pourquoi ils ont compris, quand on pose why, ils ont une bonne réponse, mais ils n'ont pas la compétence. Est-ce que dans l'univers plus général, les autres secteurs aussi, comment on trouve cette compétence-là?
Yeah, and that's why one of the hottest positions, you know, if you're looking for a new job, is community manager. And you have, you know, my favorite example is Amber Naslin. Amber Naslin is the community manager for Radiant 6, and if you don't read her blog, you're an idiot. She's one of the best bloggers I've ever read, and she only started blogging 2 years ago. And she is a literal rock star. And so what she's done is leverage her personal brand to help Radiant 6 build this community. And the truth of the matter is that Radiant 6 should be very careful to not lose Amber Naslin, because she's so good at helping them do that. And so what she's done is she's, you know, as Seth Godin brilliantly said in his new book, she's a linchpin. Right? She made herself indispensable to the organization and also valuable to the industry she serves. So I actually do think you can find people like that who become evangelists. The challenge with that is a lot of the people are trying to do it for multiple people instead of just one person. So Amber is just at Radiant 6 and her own blog, but I mean, she's still pretty, she's pretty good in her disclosure of where she's at. I don't like the sort of community manager. I work for 6 different things. You look at Scott Monty at Ford, another great example, a guy who was brought in to help be human and help connect to those conversations and voices. And there are a lot of people like that, and so those are the types of people they need to be hired. For sure.
Ouais, mais les petites entreprises n'ont pas encore les moyens d'avoir une personne dédiée à ça.
Right, yeah.
Donc, ils cherchent un profil de quelqu'un qui va être capable d'être le front desk manager de l'hôtel, mais être le community manager aussi. Donc, ça prend des bonnes skills d'opération, des bonnes skills de communication.
And we know that you can't do that. And the question back is, can you afford not to? Can you afford it? And that's really where we go. And listen, when we get busy in my office now, maybe you should ease off on the speaking or blogging focus here. I'm like, can we afford to do that? Meaning, is it more effective to have me scaling back versus scaling up? And sometimes it is, and sometimes it isn't.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'll turn it off. We've got about 5 minutes left with Mitch. She's got a buzz, so we'll go, unless you have a response to that, and we'll go to this gentleman here, and we'll try and wrap it up in the next few minutes. Okay, everyone? Please.
Well, actually, it's a bit all interlinked. So I'm convinced, okay, I'm going to set aside some time, which I've done. Okay, I started my own blog, and at one point, I get to the stage where, and you're a writer, so you're going to relate. You've got this blank page stress. Okay, what am I going to blog about today? Because I've committed to once a week. Okay, and then it actually became part of a stress in my life, which I don't need. What am I going to talk about? Because I still don't believe that people care about what I'm going to say. Maybe that should change. Okay. I've got my little iPhone, so when I think about something that could be interesting, I take a note, and when I read it back, it's all irrelevant. So what the hell? Give us some help on how to find that right stuff to talk about that maybe people won't care about anyway, but at least I'm gonna have
to
put it out.
So part of the thing that I do is I overwhelm myself with other content, so that hopefully, and my hopes are that some nuggets fall out of the tree. So yeah, I oversubscribe to stuff, right? Like I really have a lot of stuff where I can zip through and sort of get a feeling. But the truth of the matter is, and this isn't going to sound great, is it's the secret sauce. I don't know. Like, why can one guy write "Let It Be" and another person writes a Lady Gaga song? Like, how is that even possible? And that's the secret sauce. There's something, and I can't describe it. And all I tell people is I have, again, it's a nose for news and being curious. And yeah, I get sent stuff because of the popularity of the blog. For sure, people send me stuff I very rarely actually use it to blog about. I don't know. I'm interested, and I don't know. Like, I don't think anybody could answer, like, how do you write a great hit song? How do you write a blog? I think just that's who I am. And so all I can say is I just listen, read, pay attention. I take notes too. Maybe my notes make more sense when I'm sober, but I don't know. Sorry, hold on. Let me just quickly, because you already spoke. I just want to get some off.
Yeah, I'm sorry to interrupt. What I find interesting, just listening, and this is my first, meeting network.
Me too.
I actually grew up in Abbey.
Okay.
So, we're connected. But what's interesting is I find are the people who are private, personally private, in the business world? Because I find when I meet people that are the private ones and the ones that don't share as much about their life, but they do have a passion, so they could possibly be the ones who could be successful at blogging about their passion. But from what I can tell for this gentleman here, he sounds like he's private and he just doesn't feel like it's necessary
I don't
to
know.
share.
I think that there are very private people who are excellent at sharing in platforms that don't involve and require them to be outwardly, like blogging or even doing an audio podcast. In fact, you'll laugh, but I'm very socially off. Like, I'm actually very socially shy. Like, I have a hard time when I come into a room like this, like talking to people going over, so I usually stand in a corner. But yet, if you put me in a blog or to speak, I'm okay. So I'm able to find the platforms that work best for me. So I wouldn't say that they're doomed, and I think it depends on what they're trying to do. And again, for me, that's not relevant. What's relevant for me is, are they open to sharing thoughts and how they think in whatever platform they want? And if they're not doomed. They just don't have to. The thing about this is you don't have to do it, right?
It just seems like the nature of this